Hi everyone, this is TOC number 8 for Unit 2. These notes are titled Multi-Step Inequalities. By the end of these notes, you will be able to say, I can solve multi-step inequalities. So our essential question is, how do I solve multi-step inequalities? All right, so what are the steps to follow when solving multi-step inequalities? Believe it or not, they're going to be very similar to multi-step equations, just dealing with a different symbol. So first, you want to look for the distributive property. And distribute if necessary. Then look for like terms and combine if needed. Then check for a variable on both sides. Move the variable terms to one side. We typically move the smallest variable. Solve the same way as a two-step inequality. So we would need to get rid of the constant if there is one, and then get rid of the coefficient of the variable if there is one. Remember to change the direction of the inequality symbol if you multiply or divide by a negative number. And then also, if your variable is in the front, you go in the direction of the sign. However, if it's not, since the variable is the boss, and if it's not in the front, then you would go in the opposite direction because you wouldn't listen to it because it's not in the front. So let's go ahead and try this first one. I'm going to write my acronym off to the side. So DCMAM. D stands for distribute, so that's the first thing I need to look for. And yes, I do have parentheses, so I do need to distribute. I'm going to distribute this 2 to the 4x and to the positive 5. When I distribute, I multiply. So 2 times 4x gives me 8x, and 2 times 5 gives me positive 10. And then I'm going to bring everything else down. So I went ahead and distributed. Combine like terms. We want to look on the left-hand side first of the inequality, and we have a number with a variable and a number by itself. So we don't have any like terms on this side. Then we're going to look at the right-hand side, and we only have one number, so we don't have any like terms that we need to combine. So we can cross that out because we did not have it. Now we need to look to see if we have if we need to move a variable. We only have a variable on one side, so nope, we don't need to move a variable. That was not applicable in this inequality. Next, we need to see if we need to add or subtract a constant. The constant is on the same side as the variable, so you see your variable on the left-hand side, and the constant is the one by itself with no variable, which is positive 10. In order to get rid of positive 10, I need to subtract 10 on both sides. Once I do that, on the left-hand side, it cancels out because plus 10 minus 10 is 0. And now I have 8x is less than 16. Okay, so we finished with our A. And then lastly, we want x. We don't want 8x. And right now, this 8 is multiplying with the x. So I'm going to divide by 8 on both sides, and when I do that, I get x is less than positive 2. Okay, so that's my inequality. This is going to have an open circle because it doesn't have the line under it. So I'm going to go ahead and put an open circle at positive 2. And then it's telling me, and I'm going to rewrite this inequality and show you the arrow. It's telling me to go to the left, and since my boss is in the front, my variable is in the front, I am going to listen to it, and I am going to go to the left. So there we go. We graphed as well as solved our inequality, and I'm going to circle my inequality just so my teacher can see it easily. Let's go ahead and write our acronym again, DCMAM. My D stands for distribute, so now I need to look for parentheses. I do have parentheses, and the number right outside these parentheses is positive 3. So I need to distribute the positive 3 to the x and the positive 3 to the negative 3. If it helps you out, it's great to go ahead and write a positive 1 in front of that x. If you don't need that, no worries. However, it is helpful to write a 1 in front of the variable. Okay, so 3 times x gives me, 3 times x gives me 3x. 3 times negative 3, different signs. So that's going to give me a negative answer, so it's negative 9, and I'm going to write everything else down. Okay, I don't have any more parentheses, so I'm done with the distributive property, so I can cancel it out. On the left side of my inequality, I only have one number, so there's no way that I can combine like terms because I only have one number. Let's look at the right-hand side. The right-hand side, I have a number with a variable, and then a number by itself. I can combine those numbers with variables because they are like terms. So I'm going to put a red box around both of them, and I'm going to put a yellow circle around the number by itself, the constant. And so if we have two of the same things, the two red squares, I can combine those together. So I have positive 2x and positive 3x. That gives me positive 5x. And then I'm going to bring the minus 9 down. We don't have another yellow circle, so we're just going to go ahead and bring that down. All right, so I did combine like terms. Now I need to look to see if I need to move a variable. I only have a variable on one side, so nope, I don't need to do that. All right, now we need to look at our constant. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this just so we have more room to work with. Our variable is on the right-hand side, so our constant is also on that side, and it's alone. So it is negative 9. To get rid of a negative 9, I need to add 9 to both sides. When I do that, I get 20 is less than 5x. I can go ahead and cross off my a because I did that. I want x, I don't want 5x. This 5 and this x are multiplying, so in order to get rid of it, I need to divide by 5 on both sides. When I do that, I get 4 is less than x. So I'm going to go ahead and circle my inequality. I'm going to rewrite it one more time, and I'm writing it down here. And this time I'm going to draw an arrow. Okay, so I know that this is going to be an open circle because it doesn't have the line under it. I'm going to do this in green because I know I got a lot of stuff going on. So I have an open circle, and it's telling me to go to the left. However, my boss is not in the front. My variable is not in the front. So instead, I'm going to go to the right. So what is in green? That should be the way that you graph this inequality. All right, so let's go ahead and write our acronym, DCMAM. Let's see if we need to distribute. Yes, we do. We have parentheses, so I'm going to distribute this negative 2. Negative 2 times 2x is going to give me negative 4x because a negative times a positive gives me a negative answer. Negative 2 times positive 6 is going to give me negative 12, and now I want to bring everything else down. All right, we are done with distributing. Now we need to see if we need to combine like terms, so I am going to put red squares around the numbers with variables on the left-hand side. These are coefficients. And then I'm going to put a yellow circle around the number without a variable, the constant. Okay, The red squares I can combine. So if you plug in -4 minus 6 in the calculator, you're going to get -10. Make sure you add that x afterwards. And then there's only one yellow circle, so we're just going to bring the -12 down. And then let's write the rest of the inequality. There's only one number on the right of the inequality, so we cannot combine like terms on that side. All right, let's see if we need to move a variable. It looks like we don't because we only have a variable on one side, so we don't need to do that. Then let's see if we need to add or subtract a constant. Our variable's on the left-hand side. The constant is also on that side. It's by itself, so it's -12 or -12. To get rid of that, we need to add 12 to both sides. And when we do that, I'm going to write it up here just so we have room. When we do that, we get -10x is greater than or equal to 20. Okay, guys, I have one more step, and that is to either multiply or divide because I want x. I don't want -10x. So I need to divide by a negative. Whoa, I am dividing by a negative. There should be a red flag in your brain hearing dividing by a negative with an inequality. So when I divide by a negative, I have to switch my symbol. Okay, I have to put it in the other direction. And now I'm going to write x on the left side, and then 20 divided by -10 is going to give me -2. Okay, so we're going to write this one more time. I'm going to circle one of them so that my teacher can see my inequality. I'm going to put an arrow through it. So it's telling me to go to the left. I'm going to have a closed circle because I got the line underneath, a little extra going on. I got to do a little extra by closing it up. And it's telling me to go to the left, and my boss is in the front, who is the variable. And so, yes, I'm going to go to the left. If you printed this out, the format of this question may look a little different, but that's okay. So as we can see, we have some variables without any coefficients. If you would like to, you can add a 1 in front of those variables. Let's go ahead and write our acronym DCMAM. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to distribute. We see parentheses. We need to distribute on the right-hand side. So we're going to distribute this -2 to both the 1x and the +3. When we do that, we get -2x minus 6. And let's go ahead and write everything else down. All right, now we need to see if we are going to combine like terms. So let's look at the left-hand side first. So I have a number by itself. I'm going to circle it with yellow. And then I have a number with a variable. Since it has a variable, it has like a different last name compared to the other number. So I'm going to use a different color because of that, and I'm using red, and I'm squaring it. Now let's look on the right-hand side. We have -2x, so I'm going to square it with red, and then we have -6. It doesn't have a variable, so we're going to circle it with yellow. Okay, guys, so when you combine like terms, you can only do the numbers that are on the left-hand side of the equal sign. You can only combine them with ones on the left-hand side. And if any numbers on the right-hand side, you can only combine them with numbers on the right-hand side. Okay, so in this situation, we don't have like two red squares on the left-hand side, so we can't do any combining. The same thing with the right-hand side. So we're just going to rewrite it as it was. So we had 9 plus 1x is less than -2x minus 6. And I'm going to cross that out, and I'm going to write nope, because we did not need to combine like terms. Okay, now we need to see if we need to move a variable. And it looks like we need to. So we're going to move the smallest variable. And the smallest one is the -2x. So to get rid of it, I'm going to add 2x on both sides. When I do that, I get 9 plus 3x is less than negative 6. I moved that variable, and so I'm going to go ahead and cross off my m. Now I need to look on the side of the variable, which is the left-hand side, and there's a number by itself, and that is 9. So I need to get rid of that. It's adding, so I need to subtract 9 on both sides. When I do that, that is going to give me 3x is less than negative 15. Okay? Now my last step is to, if I see multiplication, then I need to divide. If I see division, I need to multiply. I see multiplication, so I need to divide by positive 3 on both sides. When I do that, I get x is less than negative 5. Okay, so now I'm going to have an open circle at negative 5, and my variable's in the front, so we're going to follow the direction that my variable is telling me, so we're going to the left. Sometimes it's going to ask you which of the numbers listed are solutions to the inequality, so let's go ahead and try that out. The first thing that we need to do is we need to solve the inequality, so let's write down our acronym. The first thing we're going to do is distribute, so let's distribute the negative 6. So we get positive 24x. You don't have to write the plus. I just did it because you know that a positive times a positive, or a negative times a negative gives me a positive. So we have positive 24x, and then negative 6 times positive 3 is going to give me negative 18 minus 8. Bring everything else down. All right, we don't see any more parentheses, so we're done with distributing. Now we need to see if we need to combine like terms. So on the left-hand side, if it has a variable, I'm going to put a red square around it. If it is a number by itself, I'm going to put a yellow circle around it. Okay, so on the left-hand side, I can combine the negative 8 and the negative 18. When I do that, I'm going to get negative 26, and I need to bring the 24x down. I wasn't able to combine that with anything because we don't have anything else with a variable on that side. Okay, let's look at the right hand side for combining like terms. If we look, we see that I have a number with a variable, so that would have a red square, and a number by itself. So since these are a red square and a yellow circle, I can't combine because they're different. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna undo those things so there we go. Okay, so we combined like terms, so let's cross off C. Now we need to move a variable. We're gonna move the smallest variable. On the right hand side, we have positive 2, that's smaller than 24x, so we're gonna subtract 2x on both sides. When we do that, and I'm going to write down into my summary, when we do that, we're going to get 22x minus 26 is greater than or equal to negative 4. All right, now we need to add or subtract a number that is on the same side as the variable. That's the coefficient. So on the left-hand side, that's where the variable is, and we have minus 26 on that side. So to get rid of that, I need to add 26 to both sides. All right, when I do that, I get 22, and then I have 22x on the left-hand side. All right, I'm going to go ahead and divide because I want x, not 22x. And when I do that, I get x is greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so it says x is greater than or equal to 1. So in that case, would negative 2 work? Is negative 2 greater or equal to 1? Nope. Is negative 1 greater or equal to 1? Nope. Is 0 greater than or equal to 1? Nope. Is 1 greater than or equal to 1? Yes, it's equal to, so I can circle that. That's a solution. Is 2 greater than or equal to 1? Yes, that is greater than, so I can circle that. So 1 and 2 are solutions to my inequality. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video. Please reach out to your teacher if you have any questions. Have a wonderful rest of your day.